Hello, 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 everyone. I hope you all are having a blessed day, or wherever you are, I hope you had a blessed day. Welcome, welcome, welcome to All Nurses Psychiatry and Integrative Care podcast. We are always excited to have you to share great topics. We always like to start with a quote, and I come with my original quote relating it to our guest for the day. So I hope this one is appropriate for that guest. This is my first time meeting that guest, so we'll discover her together. And I hope that I picked the right quote. And this is a quote that I had shared before on Facebook one time. It says, kindness is loving yourself enough to love those around you. Kindness is free to give. I see her shaking her head, so I'm sure it relates with her already. Kindness is free to give, but priceless to receive. Kindness can transform someone's dark moments with a blaze of light. So, here at All Mercy Podcast, we talk about everything relating to mental health. We say, what is health without mental health? What is life or living without mental health? The same way we are very cognizant of our physical health, we have to pay the same attention to our mental health. Whatever genre, whatever thing you're going on through, it can always affect your mental health. So, what is life without mental health? What is health without mental health? Today, we are talking about stepping into who you are and leveraging your unique skills. We have no better one than our guest for today, who I am so excited, and I'll let her introduce herself. Please go ahead.
Hey there. Thank you for having me. What a treat. What a great way to spend the afternoon. My name's Samantha Tradelius, and I'm a lot of different things. I'm a mom, first and foremost, business owner, philanthropist. I'm an executive director of a nonprofit called the Sparkle Foundation, which we'll get into, I'm sure, here shortly. And I'm just a huge supporter of women and, helping women get to where they want to go and be a part of that journey as we go through the trials and tribulations of life. And to be where I am today wasn't always a super easy road. So I'm happy to share my journey with your listeners.
I'm so happy. When you say philanthropist,
That's a big word, right?
that's a
It makes me feel like so important.
that's a big word. Philanthropist. It's heavy.
I'm a do good junkie. I love to do good. Doing good fills my soul in a way that I can't even describe. And so, when I'm down or when I'm not feeling great, to be able to lift someone else up, that's what fuels me and keeps me going.
Absolutely. Thank you for being that person. I think the world needs many, many, many people like you. But can you dive more into what philanthropist is? Who is a philanthropist?
Well, I mean, it's a person whose world is dedicated to service and serving their community. In my shoes, I sit as the executive director of an organization that serves single mothers and children, a crusade I started 21 years ago.
Ooh,
Um, yep. As a legacy to my grandmother, who was a single mom in the 1950s, raising three kids in an environment that was not super supportive of single mothers and their journey. So over the years, I've been an official organization for 8 years. And in those 8 years, we've raised over $2 million and served over 10,000 lives, all single mothers. Yeah, through our holiday gift drive, our backpacks, our enrichment scholarships, and most recently, our micro loans. And I actually just funded my second one today. I went and dropped off the check for our next recipient. So we're doing some good stuff. So in essence, that is a philanthropist. That right there, what I told you, that is what a philanthropist does.
it sounds very busy.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of moving parts.
Wow. I'm thinking now, how do you blend that with your own personal life?
It's always funny. People always ask about balance and how do you do it all? Well, newsflash, you don't. That's the first step. Every day looks obviously very different. I, have a family. I have owned a business for years. I'm still a practicing professional in my entrepreneurial space, and so Sparkle is my non-paying passion life part of me. And so some days it requires a little bit more than others, but I just kind of organize my life depending on who needs more of me. And, hopefully at the end of the day, I can go to bed going, okay, I did something right.
I hope that when you say who needs more me, I'm like, oh, okay. I hope that you realize those days that you need more of you as well.
100%. It took me a long time to find that girl and to realize that she needs a little love every now and again too. So I take my time for me. I have to, otherwise I lose my mind.
Yeah. Can you share a personal journey or your personal journey of self discovery and how it has influenced your mental well being and acceptance of your unique skills and talents?
These are such good questions. I was reading them before. I was like, you, we're digging in deep. You know,
Yeah,
self-discovery and figuring out who we are as these beings, I think is an ever evolving moment for all of us, and especially women, because we go through so many different seasons of our life. One of the things I can best say that most recently was, during COVID and when we were locked down in our homes, and here I was, afraid of what was happening around me. I was teaching my kids math and science, like, I'm an educator. And then I was dealing with, my own just struggles of, what is going on.
right.
For me, it was this moment of like, what am I good at and what can I do to better the world around me? And that was to give back and do what I do. And discovering that part of me really kind of came out in a way that we uh, turned our operations a little bit differently into doing gratitude boxes. So we did over 1,000 boxes for nurses and teachers and first responders and business owners. And we had all these products that were donated, and, I took all that like icky energy that was inside and I really kind of peeled it out and discovered, okay, for me, this is a way to make me feel better. And it was a way to help other people around me feel better and bring people in to also do the work to feel better. And so, I mean, it was an incredible ability of like realizing, my talents of where I'm good at bringing people together, but also discovering that part about me, that the do good part was really great to help
Uh,
me through my darkest times.
you will not realize how far those things go or how far those efforts went. The heart of COVID, some of us were actively in facilities, in hospitals, working.
Mhm.
And each time we will get an extra max because some foundation donated something. Or each time we'll get an extra slice of pizza because some people donated something. Sometimes it's not even what we had, but that others are thinking about us
Mhm.
made a huge impact. And those unique skills and talents that you have and doing all those things, do you think those affected your mental health in any way?
I mean, I'm just a wild wheel up in this brain of mine. It's just all over the place all the time. I don't sit still very well. So I mean, I think that my skills of wanting to do good and go and do these things, and then, the mental situational state of where I was as a human being, I think that they did really play with each other a little bit, because part of me was like, I gotta go, I gotta do this, and this other part of me was like, but the world is like falling apart, and it was scary. And, you know raising two little girls at that time, I mean, there was definitely a lot going on. So I think they did play on each other quite a bit.
Yeah. So thank you for your service. Or your
Thank you.
or your services. It is not easy. It is not easy at all. Because what some people don't realize is people don't give time or give things because they have enough. People give because they care. Being a philanthropist and being the kind and generous person, especially with your time. Time is something that you give and you can never get back. You can give other things and work back together, but you will never get back that time. And knowing what you do, I know it requires a lot of time. So thank you for what you do as a person, as a philanthropist. This leads
Thank you.
us to our next question. How do you believe an individual's mental health can be impacted if they do not reach their full potential?
Well, it can make you feel about this big if you don't, if you, if you're not accomplishing these goals that you set for yourself. I mean, you feel like a total, like, just failure in a lot of ways, and going back to that moment you had asked me about balance and, how do you do these different things? And for a long time, being a mother of young girls, owning a business, having a nonprofit, and trying to be the best wife, friend, person I could be, you get into bed at night and you're like, I didn't accomplish, I was really great over here, but over here I was really not great. And I feel like this bucket didn't get any drops of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so that definitely, would lay on my mind of like, hey, I'm failing, and it make you feel bad. It would bring you down. So it wasn't until I was about, I think, 35 or so that I really had a shift of, listen, like, I can do everything I need to do. I just need to organize my day to accommodate the things that need to get done that are important to me. And I prioritize in that way instead of running ragged and making myself feel like a failure. Because, you can't win when you're failing.
Especially
um,
when you're thinking that you're failing.
yeah. And,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, I wasn't failing. I was just not managing my time. And so I think that a lot of us women struggle with trying to do it all and be that person to everybody all the time, and it's a lot.
And we tax ourselves so much even without the society tasking us. Like you said, we women, we go through a lot of personal changes, and you call them seasons, which I like. There's a season where you're dealing with hormones, you're an adolescent, you're going through menstruation and all that. There's a season where you're dealing with pregnancy, you're dealing with childbirth, you're dealing with postpartum, you're dealing with other stuff going on. So, and all of this influence your mood if not well managed, especially when you hit menopause. All these are influencing your mood if it's not well managed. You're discovering yourself in those seasons. Then again, you're trying to reach out. It's like you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a philanthropist, you work full time, you're doing this. At what time do you even discover yourself to have that balance in your mind? And we women, we become so self-critical sometimes. You can do 10 things right in a day, but one thing wrong will keep you up at
That
night.
one wrong thing will get you going. What was interesting too was I was at doing a vision boarding event maybe 15 years ago, and one of the ladies, was running it. She goes, you need to set goals, but set goals that are realistic and attainable. I mean, have the pie in the sky. I want the Bentley. I want to have the airplane moment, and have that be your goal on the top, the North Star. But really, in the nitty gritty, like, make goals and aspirations for yourself that you can attain, that are realistic, so that you can, not be so down on yourself when you don't meet your, quote unquote full potential, because, maybe some of the things that you want are not things that realistically at this moment, at this season, you're not going to be able to accomplish for whatever reason.
Do you believe that people really know when they reach their full potentials?
No, because I think we're always evolving, Like, I some days think like, yeah, like I got it together. And then I realize the next day, I don't know anything. I got to start all over, you know? I think it's, you're constantly evolving. And I think when they always say you're climbing on that mountain, when you get to that mountain and you're looking over at the valley, now what? Right? What are you going to do with it? So I think really what you do with it is the next level of full potential, and it's evolving. Hopefully when our time is up, we can say we've met our full potential.
Right. And sometimes some goals and some dreams change.
And maybe you have a Bentley in the driveway. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was for you.
It is funny. What advice will you offer to someone experiencing mental health challenges while trying to identify their unique skills and strengths?
I think a lot of times are, people that I've seen struggle with, mental health challenges. There's so many people that are here to help you, and reaching out to your network and your team and your tribe and your people in your life. I mean, yeah, there are times where things are at a level where you need to bring in professionals that know how to answer certain questions and deal with certain things that a lot of us don't have in our toolbox. But for the most, run of the mill, challenges that we all go through, I mean, go to your girlfriends, get to your sister tribe. I mean, that's what we're here for. We all go through different things at different stages, and we're here to help.
Absolutely. 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 And I think we should have moments where instead of looking at what is missing, we should look at what we have.
And your girlfriends and your people in your space can help you remember that sometimes, because sometimes we forget.
Right. Right. In your opinion, how does self-awareness? It's all about finding yourself, getting to know who you are, getting to reach your full potentials. How does self-awareness contribute to maintaining positive mental health and effectively leveraging your unique skills and abilities, especially as I mean you're dealing with a foundation that have over 10,000 women. How do you see them juggle through all these? I know that some are self-aware, some are not. How do you see them juggle through all this?
I mean, I feel like women are the most resilient, incredible beings of around. And single mothers,
I
single mothers being my client base, if you will. I mean, these women are so resilient and so incredible, and the last to ask, and the one that needs help the most.
mm-hmm.
Because remember, we as women, we can do it all, right? We don't ask for help. I think that when you figure
Yeah,
out,
we can do it
yeah,
all.
we can do it all. I feel like when you kind of figure out this person, who you are and what makes you tick, that then everything else kind of falls into place in certain, ways. So for me, taking on a role as an executive director, like I'd been doing the work as just a young woman wanting to serve single moms. I was wrapping gifts in my bathtub. I had women all over my house. And at some point it was like, okay, we could be more legit if we formed an organization that was a full-on 501c3. I didn't know
Right,
anything about that. I have an insurance business. I mean, I don't know anything about non-profiting and fundraising and bylaws and board members. I mean, come on, what
right,
do I know? At the time I was a 35, 36. Um, and so I really had to dig deep, get uncomfortable, form this organization. And then really quickly, I was like, okay, I'm not good at a lot of different things. Like, I am good at people, I am good at, getting people to jump in and do work and serve others. Like, I can rally the troops, but give me a spreadsheet, I'm out. Like, not for me. Nope. So for me, realizing who I was and where my strengths were, it
hmm
was about putting people around me that were so much smarter than me in other areas that we could grow together. And that's really how the Sparkle, foundation was born in its infancy. And, 8 years later, we are like this incredible ball of awesome, by design, because I, figured putting people that we could all shine. We could all shine in our best talents and be able to be the best to help others together.
right. I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, audience, all of you watching and commenting. Thank you all. I want to share this comment with you from Ditech TV. You can see that it says, yes, giving is caring, not an obligation.
Mhm.
Have you ever felt in your process where you're helping all these women. It says giving is caring, it's not an obligation. Have you ever felt like some people felt like it was an obligation and not just because of the kindness of your heart?
I, there's definitely a part of what we do that sometimes I can say, I don't know that this is really our sparkle mom or somebody that really fits our program, because what we do is really specific in a sense to where we're not here to fix, a big problem. We're here
Mm-hmm.
to literally be that trampoline. Like, you're able to pay rent, you're able to put food on the table, but now your son or daughter wants to play basketball and there is no 700 extra dollars this month. What do I do? you
Right.
know and it's not your son or daughter's problem that mom is having a hard time making bills. So we can help write the check, and we do that one time. So we provide this trampoline experience where it's just like we literally bounce these moms back on up and out into the environment. And so those are the women we look to assist in. They don't need to be in destitute. I mean, the single mom, she could be the lady living next door that seemingly has her life together, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no extra money. Or, she wants to start her business and there isn't anyone that'll give her a loan because she has no credit or, no business experience. I mean, those are the women we're looking for.
Right. And again, thank you for all the comments. Like Gov it Obi says, we are indeed overachievers. We are always going above and beyond. We are always feeling like it can be done. If we don't do it, then who? It can be done. It can be done. And this leads to my next question. What strategies or techniques can individuals use to build confidence and resilience as they navigate through challenges on their journey to self-discovery and maintain their mental health? It's tough out there. You you play all these roles, and sometimes you don't even find any of them fulfilling. How do you caution your women? How do you advise them? What do you think they should do as they are doing all those self-discovery moments and maintain their mental health together?
I can only speak to what I know has worked for me and the people that I am around, because my crew is been around me for a while. So we've been at this game for a while. Doing good feels good. So when you're struggling and you're down and you're, in a place that's not strawberries and rainbows, you've got some clouds and you're working through it. To go out there and do something to serve someone else, or to go out there and serve, if you're into animals, if you're into the beach, if you're into the trees, if you're into providing food at a food pantry, all of those things. I mean, there's so many wonderful organizations out there that all are run by volunteers, and it allows you to kind of maybe get away from yourself for a second and realize you can you can take that space and go serve and do good for the world. And that, I think, is the best medicine of all, because it really does. It's not only what you're giving out, but it's what you're doing inside to help, further somebody in a positive way. And that, I
Mhm.
think, that is something very cool.
Yeah. So this saying that you feel good when you give.
Yeah.
People even say it's very healing emotionally as well when you give. And
Well, there's no strings attached, right? You're just doing it because you want to and
mhm,
because it makes you feel good. I mean, you're not doing it because you want a reaction or you want something in return. You're, cleaning up trash because, it needs to be done. And also, like, it makes the space beautiful for someone else to enjoy. It's those types of things. I mean, and it doesn't need to be something major crazy. It can be little tiny, teeny tiny.
mhm.
And if
I'm
you're
glad.
not in a position to go out, if you can't go outside and you need to stay, you want to stay inside. I mean, there's things you could do on, the computer. There's ways to help other organizations. There's ways to do so many things.
Yeah. I'm glad you're pointing that it doesn't have to be a mansion to give somebody.
No.
It can be a bottle of water. It can be just meeting that person at their point of need at that moment. It can be just consoling someone. That's maybe all they may need at that time. and you're there for them. It doesn't, so people should not stop giving because they minimize what they can give. Give what you can give to who can receive it at that time, because it is very fulfilling and very healing. And can you share any personal experiences or examples of individuals whose mental health have improved as they embrace who they are, especially in your journey struggling with single moms issue, over 10,000 of them in your organization? There is still a lot of stigma surrounding being a single mother, and which is very surprising in today's world, because some people, even though in relationships, are very single still, are even more single than some of the single moms out there. But it is still, you see some people judging single moms out there when they are going through this period of judgment, of feeling inadequate, or of not feeling inclusive and accepted with their milieu or with the society. They are finding themselves, they are achieving those. Have you had personal experiences of those whose mental health have improved as they embrace being a single mom, as they embrace being who they are and accepting themselves?
This part of my job is hard because it's emotional, right? Because, I will have women stop me in the market, or somebody will email me or call me and say, "Listen, like this happened, and your organization, you guys came in and provided Christmas, or, helped me pay for football, and you have no idea." Or I finally was able to leave and I started my life again, and I had nothing, and you guys helped. I mean, we've done some incredible work. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it, I think, is knowing that there's somebody there that believes in you and is there to support you, and to just be a little sparkle in your life. And that's really what we do. Um, one of
I
the best
love that
examples.
name, Sparkle. You need to send me one of those
I
T-shirts.
will, girl. I will. I got you.
Yeah.
We did our first micro loan, and it was this incredibly successful story where we were able to fund a single mom some capital so that she could open a second location and hire and do the things that she wanted to do. And I was lucky enough this last year to win a Jefferson Award, which is a big deal. Yes, thank you. And we got to go and film with her in her office and see her office. And I'd worked with her, but I'd never been to her space. And on camera, she had said that the best part about the Sparkle experience was that knowing that there was people that believed in her and would
Mm-hmm.
believe that she could do it. And that, I thought, was like, whoa, that part of the journey and helping someone feel like that inside. I mean, that is a big deal.
That
It
is
was it's
incredible.
still one of those things. I have her picture on my desk, and every time I see it, I think of her saying those exact words, somebody that believed in me.
That is incredible. Because not only what we have realized in mental health as well is that self-esteem, sometimes not everybody can just wake up one day and say, I look good, I feel good, I'm beautiful, I got it good, I can write all by myself. Some people need that little boosting, some people need that extra touch, some people need someone to say, I believe in you. And this comes also a lot with parenting, where parents show children that you can do this and raise them up that way, like you got this, you can, you will. And even in life as adults, some people just blossom when they know that someone is believing in them. And I think that's what you're doing with all your women out there. Like, you got this. I believe in you. And like Omulara says, sometimes giving could just be listening.
100%. 100%. And that's an easy thing. That doesn't cost anything. You don't even have to get up. You just got to sit there. You can put your earbuds in. You don't even have to move. You could just sit there and absolutely be exactly what somebody needs today.
Whew, that's huge. That's huge. Because listening comes in a lot of ways. Listening and being an active listener is something too. Are there some common misconceptions or societal barriers that hinder individuals from fully embracing their unique skills and talents? And how can this impact not just the mental health, but overall? As you're navigating with all these women in your society, work, do you see some things that can hinder some people from saying, yes, I am all this, or this is who I am, or I can be this? And I know that it impacts mental health, but how does that impact your overall well being?
Well, I think, the community we serve being single moms, as you had stated before, it's not a super, I mean, think back to my grandma in the 50s, where she was like ousted from the Catholic Church because she was a divorced woman, right? They wouldn't even let her come in to see Jesus. I mean, it was crazy. And now, I mean, there's definitely more services and things provided, but it's still not, it's still a thing where, oh, she's a single mom, or oh, obviously her, marriage didn't work out. I mean, everybody has their opinions about things. And I think there's that. And then there's also like just being a woman in, I mean, we're still fighting and doing and still not at the same equal level, and then you factor in women of color and, women of different, in different places. I mean, it's like there's so many different factors that I think hold us back, as a whole, being women,
Mhm.
that that has a lot to do with your mental health too, because you got to try so much harder to get to the finish line sometimes, and you shouldn't have to. And
Mhm.
that's just, we're the ones that are going to change that. We as women change that for the next generation, but we got to keep fighting for it and fighting for each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to use this opportunity to say that let us build internal resilience. Let us love ourselves more than l- thinking about what society think about us. That way, even if they think we are nobody as women or as single women, if they think we are nobody, let us give ourselves credit to say that we are somebody and that we belong. We are enough. This is to all single moms out there. And sometimes they are single not by choice. Things happen. Things happen. So let us show kindness.
I mean, most women don't anticipate things not working out, if they go down that road to find a partner.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, nobody goes into it going, "Gee, I hope this doesn't work out." I mean,
Right.
we all go into it thinking that this is what it is. I do think that together, going back to that self-love, and I mean, everybody talks about it and it's kind of buzzword, but honestly, like, as you get older and you evolve into these women that we are becoming, we do love ourselves, and we love ourselves in the different seasons that are presented to us. And it's important for us to love each other. That's the part we forget, is to love our other sisters, because they need us.
Yeah. There is a saying a long time ago that the devil of a woman is a woman. But I think, yeah, but I think with time, many women are changing that narratives by being there for a sister, by being there for a friend, by being there as a female,
Mhm.
understanding what the other female is going through, and by just being there holding those hands together.
And those other girls, we don't have time for them. We don't have those girls. We don't have time. I think there's more women that are doing great work, and there's more women that are lifting and supporting each other than there are the ones that are not, because the other ones are just trying to keep up with the rest of us. So,
Right,
you know what? Come on, buy a ticket, get on the bus. We're accepting new members all the time.
right. And they said when it is shared, when the love is shared, when the meal is shared, when peace is shared, everybody feels fulfilled in a different level, in a higher level. We don't have to be by ourselves. The only time we can be talking about Another sister is if we are lifting them up and not pushing them down.
Exactly. And it goes back to that, when you do good
You feel
for
good.
someone, you feel good. And it was something you just said that got me to thinking. So every year we wrap gifts for single mom families. And this last year we had 80 families that we wrapped. It was over 200 and I think 55 lives that we were wrapping. I mean, there was a sea of gifts and human beings. And I remember at one point about 8 o'clock in the morning looking into this room and there was 400 people wrapping gifts. I mean, it was moms and daughters and grandmas and dads and uncles and grandpas. I mean, it was everybody, everybody. It didn't matter who they were. They were all there doing something for somebody else. And that I think is the greatest, the greatest feeling to be able to see that and to
Yeah.
see everybody fulfilled for that moment, that 1 hour, everybody felt good.
And this is selfless love. This is selflessness. And they are wrapping those gifts for those people that they don't even know them.
They don't know them.
And
They
they
don't
may
even know that. They're writing their names. They're making bows. They're, making the bikes. They have no idea. And they have and they don't even know the impact that they're going to have for that family. And every single one of those families was impacted and always is.
mm, mm, mm. These are wow moments. These are wow moments. Staying up, doing, giving your time that you will never, ever get back.
But I
So,
don't want it back. I love having it in my time bank, in my bucket, in my
right.
bucket of love. I did it.
How can individuals utilize their creativity and innovation as tools for personal growth and
These
fulfillment?
questions are so good. They're so good. I
Thank you.
mean, find what you're good at, right? Find what you're good at
And
and
nobody's good at something.
yeah,
Nobody's
and go
useless.
all in on it, right?
Mhm.
Just get into it. And I think that is something that you can be creative with because it's yourself, it's your brand, it's what you're good at. Innovate it to become, changing with whatever the scenario is. And I think that, is going to lead to a lot of personal growth and fulfillment
Mhm.
because it's yours.
It's you. And everybody is unique in their own way.
We all got a secret sauce. It's in there.
I
Trust
like
me.
that secret sauce.
Everybody's got something.
I like that secret sauce. Everyone is unique in their own way, and I hope nobody ever feel like they are useless. Even as they go through some seasons, some challenges may come, some obstacles may come, but don't write yourself short. Find that secret sauce,
Got to find it.
and it may not just benefit you, it may be a long chain of people who can depend on that your secret sauce. So it's very important that at one point we all find it. In what ways can fostering diversity and inclusivity create a more supported? I think you're doing that already, because the diversity with all of you, 10,000 plus women for how many years, is huge. It's huge. When I think about it, I don't even know if you realize how much of an impact you will create just by sparkling people's lives. But and we all, who doesn't want a touch of sparkle? Who
It's
doesn't want a touch of sparkle? So in what ways can that fostering diversity create a more supportive and empowering environment for individuals to enhance their well-being and step into their true selves?
yeah, and I think it also helps people get down to a place of number one, being a part of something that's bigger than themselves, first and foremost, because so many people are so wrapped up in their own nonsense. Like, let's just take a back seat here and realize, like, hey, you could do this and it feels so much better than, making your TikTok videos, you little 13-year-old. Like, there's
Right.
so many ways to get involved and do so much that helps you really step into this person that you are trying to become. Um,
Mhm.
and as far as the diversity and the inclusion and the efforts, I mean, single moms, they look like everybody. They come in all shapes and sizes and colors and socioeconomic situations. So I mean, we're doing it all. I mean, the only thing we don't do is men, because we do single moms and we get asked a lot, well, what about the single dads? I go, there's an organization that does that too, but this is what we do. And we do it because we can be impactful and we're directed and we know that we can make a difference. And that's what we do.
Right, right. And I have a comment here. Miss Pretty say it depends if you're scared. Sometimes, I don't know if you agree with me with this one, that journey of self-discovery can be scary.
It's totally scary. Hello. I didn't become this person not being scared. I didn't become this person not taking risks and falling flat on my face and learning so many things the hard way. And some days I would sit here in my office and go, what have I done? Like, this is so much more than even I'm able to really process and deal with. But
Mhm,
but when I feel overwhelmed, I take a minute and I also know that like it's okay to reach out or to bring someone in to bounce an idea or to help me if I can't manage it. Or you know what? Sometimes I just get up and I walk out the door and I'll come back tomorrow and I'll tackle the problem. And sometimes that's okay to just take a pause, and say I need to really process this, whatever this is, until I'm in a clear space to be able to make a decision that I'm comfortable with.
I think because we overtax ourselves and we are the overachievers that we are, even before society judge us, sometimes we are already judging ourselves.
We're
We
the
feel
worst critic.
we are our own critics, the worst ones. The evening that the family goes without fresh dinner, we think that all hell break loose. And we put ourselves in so many roles that we even forget our own selves. But like to answer again to Miss Pretty, it is scary discovering who you are and making that change to say, oh, maybe I was thinking I am this. Maybe I am also this.
Well, and you're evolving. You're
Mhm,
always evolving. You
mhm,
need to be cool with being this person now and a different person 6 months from now and an
mhm,
even different person when you're, 20 years from now. I mean, you're going to have these going back to the seasons. You're having
mhm,
these seasons and these moments of different things are going to work at different times.
mhm.
And if you had it all figured out, guys, it would be so easy. And life is not supposed to be easy, right? It's supposed to give us a little rumble, little shake for our money, because it keeps it exciting.
And so long as we are living, my grandmother used to say, things does not hit a stick. You're not a stone. So
Yes.
long as you're living, there is something that will impact you, good or bad.
You gotta go through it.
Learn how to sail through the storms because it will not always be calm sea at all times.
I mean, I
And
remember when I started in my insurance business and I was a woman in insurance, which was like old men. And I'd walk into a meeting and they'd be like, "Is your father coming or are you here to take notes?" I was like, "No, like I'm here to do the work." And I mean, it was so hard and it was so difficult and I would feel like just awful. And, but I said, no, I'm going to keep going. And I knew like that's how I was going to make a living. I needed to pay rent and do the things I needed to do. But you got to just keep going and know that like being scared and being like overwhelmed and having all those different like that's part of the journey and you got to go through it because at the other side you'll look back and go, I'm better because this happened, even though at the time it made no sense. Um,
mhm,
but while you're going through it, you're just like, this is ridiculous. But on
right,
the other side, you're like, okay, universe, I understand why you presented me with this disaster that now I'm able to, look at on the other side.
right. Sometimes you have to submerge to emerge.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they say if those dreams do not frighten you, if they do not scare you, then they are not big enough. Then you're still thinking about little dreams. And we have Obana here who is asking. I think you've touched on that a little bit. You can add more to it. What can I do to have self confidence when I feel overwhelmed or when I am overwhelmed?
Well, you have to remember that we're all overwhelmed at different times. Like if you're not overwhelmed, you're not doing it right. Because again, like if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
And
If
you know,
you're not
being
overwhelmed, then you're not giving it the time and attention that it desires.
yeah, I mean, people, I have people that will say things to me like, oh, you know, you just so easy. I'm like, you, as long as I'm presenting well, I've done my job because it has not always been easy and it's not easy for any of us. And any successful business person will tell you the same thing. Like getting overwhelmed and getting uncomfortable is when you can breed the most successful parts of you because you know your back's not necessarily up against the wall, but you're uncomfortable enough to like have to make a decision that can better and further you in so many more ways than you would have ever imagined.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about being overwhelmed, Samantha, I know that that is something you have had to deal with. There is no way you can play the role that you're playing without being overwhelmed. Does it, when those moments when you're tired and you still know that, okay, there are so many needs to still be fulfilled. I need to send out 10,000 emails. I know that you have people who help with all that, but at the end of the day, you feel like you're accountable. And it is a duty of yours to make sure that the women involved in your association have that balance. All of them are being cared for. When you are overwhelmed, what do you do? Let's say it's Christmas season, it's you're sending 10,000 gifts out, 9,000 is already out, everybody is overwhelmed, 1,000 still need to get out there before Christmas. What do you do?
I put my tennis shoes on and I get to work. That's what I do. Right? Because that's what a boss does. She gets up, she goes to work. You know, again, going back to that like first thing we talked about being uncomfortable, being overwhelmed, you know, that COVID mom, I was sitting here going, "Oh my god, this is the world is coming to an end." What made me feel better was doing things for other people. I go back to now with my 1,000 gifts I got to get out in 1 hour, and I've been there, trust me. I
Mm-hmm.
will get to work and I just will put my head down because I know at the end of the day the result of impact to someone else is so much better than anything else that I will just put my head down and go to work. Now, when I'm done, I will probably just lay in bed like a starfish. And I do. Like as I get older, I'm just exhausted. And it takes everything out of me. But you know, knowing what the result of helping someone else, that is what keeps me going.
Right. Do you ever feel like do you feel like you're doing something good?
All the time. If I don't go to bed at night and put my head down knowing I made a like made a difference or had purpose, like that's when I don't feel fulfilled. Every day that I am on this earth is a day that I can do something for someone else. Big or small. I mean, that's who I am and that's I'm a self-proclaimed do good junkie. That's what I am. That's my title.
What a wonderful title. Self-proclaimed do good junkie.
It's it. Like the
The world,
doing good fuels me. It fuels my fire.
the world needs more people like that, I tell you. The world needs more people who can just have someone believe in them so that their inner sparkle can come out. So while you're out there sparkling lives, it is making other people be able to develop their own sparkles or realize the sparkle that they already had but was not sparkling at the moment.
It
So
needs to come out.
it needs to come out. So thank you so much for what you're doing. It is never enough. Have you ever not accepted someone in your organization?
All the time. All the time. Because again, if we don't feel like we're going to be impactful, we are not going to be able to take on, you know, like if someone comes to us and they don't have a stable living situation
Mhm.
and, you know, they want us to provide Christmas, well, what's it going to look like when we bring in 90 bags of, you know, all where you're going to put, you have nowhere to put it, or, you know, it's not going to solve the problem that is a much bigger problem than what Sparkle can fix. Um,
Right.
Other times, you know, like it's I hate to say it, but there's a difference between needing our services and taking our services. And we really seek out those that need what we do, not that are just taking it because it's there.
Right,
Because the other part of the puzzle, which we didn't talk about, was that I don't have any, we don't get government grants. We don't have any paid staff. We don't have any of those things. Every dollar that gets donated is a dollar that goes right back out. So if I'm got to, write a check for $300, I had to go out and raise with my team that $300. So we're very cautious about the funds and the way that we spend our money as an organization because we know what it takes to get those donations. It's
right,
hard work. Um, and we really want to make sure that the people that are getting it are people that can, really absorb it and it will really help them in that moment.
right. There's, you just made me think of something. There's a difference between needing and taking. Not even wanting, but taking. Like actually prioritizing what they need most at that time, which is good. And like Mabel says, there's always a benefit in pain. We just need to look deeper. Thank you so much for that. It takes a lot to do what you're doing. Not everybody can do it. And with that said, what actionable steps can listeners take today to prioritize self care, embrace their authenticity, and leverage their unique skills for personal growth?
They can get out there and do some good work. Find something you're into, find something that you feel passionate about and dive in and get out there and do good things because I think the result will be that you will feel so good inside when you're
Mm,
done.
absolutely.
And it's so easy. It doesn't need to be something major. That's the thing I think everybody's like, "Oh gosh, like a whole day?" No, do 30 minutes, do an hour. Don't even do an organized event. Just go, you know, serve the community in whatever way that makes the most sense, something that speaks to you. And
Right,
and that I think in so many ways can not only use your skills because you're able to use your time and your treasure and your
right.
talents, but also, help you grow and be a part of something that's bigger than you.
Mm-hmm. I've seen even in our community, we have this community group where people post, "Oh, I am off these days. I have my child is 3, or I could babysit your own for this time if you need to go out on a quick run." People post things there and volunteering things, services. I can walk your dog for free. People do a lot of, yeah. People find what you're passionate about, like Alexander say. Find what you're passionate about and be of service with that thing. There are always people who need those services, and there are always people who can afford to give those services. Just need to find what you're passionate about and do that. So doing good is very easy. Someone says, Samantha, thanks for that reminder. Thank you, Mabel. Thank you, everyone, as you are contributing with. So doing good can one generate self confidence, or does it come naturally? That's from my uncle JJ.
That's a good one. That's a good
Right.
one.
Generate self confidence, or does it come naturally? What do you think, Samantha?
I think a little bit of it comes naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are more outgoing than others. That,
Mm-hmm.
that is, I wonder what you would imagine I was like as a child.
That just got me thinking about myself. Like,
Definitely not a quiet one.
hmm,
But I also think as you become more confident in your craft, you become more self-confident. So going back to my insurance career, I mean, when I started in insurance, I was 17 years old, 18 years old, working at my parents' business, and I
hmm,
was not confident and had to go in and start teaching insurance class because the teacher didn't show up. I didn't know anything. And I looked like I didn't know anything. And
hmm,
people were like, they would eat you alive. But you know what? I was like, I got to do this. This is what puts food on my family's table. And that's, how
hmm,
my career started. But I was not super self confident when it came to business till many years later. And now it's, a different conversation, but I've been doing it for 25 years that now I've got the self confidence, but I had to work for that. I had to learn a lot to get there.
right. And I believe that your environment, your culture, the nurturing part of it can also bring something in you that can create that confidence, especially if you're self-aware. That is a good thing to start. That's a good place to start. If you're self-aware that this is where I am or this is what I am, you can easily develop that self-esteem or that confidence in that area and build towards it and make it more pronounced. And some people have it naturally a little bit, but the culture can still kill it, make you feel like you're useless. And you grow up gaining that perception from your immediate surrounding, thinking you're useless. So it's something that you can also nurture. If it's always been there, you nurture, you still see it blossom. And also, it depends on something. I think you touched on it a little bit. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Some of my friends think I am very confident. This is personal. Like some of my friends think I am very confident. I can go out there in the crowd and just do what I talk to people, be me, and maybe there's a little me in some of it. I'll say a little me, but I'll say a big portion of it has been me cultivating that, watering that, sowing the seed, and saying, I need the seed to grow because I have realized that I want to be this and I need to do this in order to. How bad do you want it? Are you going to stand and be resilient? Are you going to stand that storm and go over it? Is it going to stop you there, or you'll be like, I am getting this no matter what, and build confidence from that. So I think it is both ways. It can come naturally. Even if it comes naturally, you still have to,
Got to work at it.
you got to work at it. And thanks, that's a great question. How can I teach my son to go out there and get confidence? Any advice? And this is a male we are talking about. How do you want to?
You walk and they watch. That's how.
Absolutely.
I have two daughters, and they are only the way they are because they see me and they watch me, and then they follow. They see mom doing it, they do the same thing.
Great. You know how we say you cannot teach children by telling them?
Got to do it. They watch. They watch everything.
Yeah, they do. They learn a lot also by example.
Hmm.
Yeah, they learn a lot by example. And whew, that's good. I need personal advice on leveraging on my unique skills and abilities. I think this will go again by saying how bad you want it and have you discovered what you're good at, what you're passionate about. And sometimes those self-discovery moments, you can ask also those who are very close to you, your parents. Sometimes parents want to tell us what we want to hear, but you need to have those people who will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and you'll be able to receive them, knowing that it's not coming from a judgmental place, it's coming from a good place. And those can also tell you that you're good at this, you're good at that. That way, you work on those things that you have going for you. Do you have anything to add on that, Samantha?
No, and I think the journeys, again, are going to be super different for everybody. And I think, really figuring out what you're good at and what you enjoy doing are the first two steps. And then like just throttle down, baby. Go all in on it, right? Like figure it out and go. Because if you don't go, it's not going to happen for you unless you make it happen.
Unless you make it
And
happen.
if you screw up, that's okay. Like, dust your shoulders off and go the other way because
Do
that's
you
part of the
know
journey.
how many times some of us have screwed up and are still screwing up?
100%.
It's okay, so long as we don't stay screwed up. So long
Yeah,
as
as long as you learn from it, it's not a mistake. They say it's an experience.
it, thank you. It is an experience, not a mistake. And someone said, Mercy is very confident. You, of all people, I worked on it. So my smile is the first confidence portrait. I worked on it. I worked on it. So someone perfectly said, thank you guys for all the comments. Thank you for engaging into it. It has been very, very, very exciting, Samantha. We'll get you back again on another topic pretty soon.
Anytime. Anytime. You know where to find me.
Thank you so much. So I know where to find you. How can people know where to find you?
It's really easy. It's just my name, samanthachradelius.com. You can learn all about the crazy antics of my life, and sparkle and all the things. And then also on Instagram, it's a great place because then you can really get to see what's going on. And that's just my name, at Samantha Tradelius.
I think we had some connection issues
Yeah,
there.
there you are.
They heard you well where to find you.
Oh, just the website is just samanthachradelius.com, and also on all social media platforms, just my first and last name.
It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, so much. And I'll hold you to your word that you will come back again. I'm waiting,
Anytime.
I'm waiting for my sparkle t-shirt.
You got to send me your address. You email it to me. I'll send you something out this week.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for listening to us. We'll have more of these topics coming on, and thank you for all the engagement. We are reading each of the comments. We appreciate your time. It's evening where I am. People are just getting off work. They're tired, but they are joining. Thank you, everyone. Samantha, thank you so much. We'll catch
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.